Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm literally sat here just because I thought I would give you a little bit of an update as to how the last 2 weeks have been since I last posted a YouTube video. So with regards to like the HRT and everything like that, it's still been very up and down. However, I have just come off like the second part of putting the progestin in, and at the moment, the last like couple of days, I felt okay. But again, it is very like up and down, so I don't know whether this will kind of last. But I would say from like the first month of HRT, I didn't notice an improvement, which was pretty gutting and felt like everything had dragged on for like so very long. Like even up until like this Friday, which was my last session of the week, because I do not train on a Saturday or Sunday. I messaged Meg and was like, I can't be bothered, like, it's not there. But unfortunately, you know, like, it's not just a matter of like, I can't be bothered, so I'm not going to do it. We still have to do it. And I can always end up like having a really good session. So that kind of does keep me going when I have days like that. Like when my energy is just completely low and in the ground. It's definitely got like, it definitely got worse, I would say, like this month with the HRT in. But like I said, I was kind of aware that it can either get better, stay the same, or get worse. And to be honest, like I have up and down months, so maybe this was just a down month. But yeah, it's been really tough. And like to the point where I said, I'm going to see like how this next month goes on HRT, which has literally started like yesterday is the new month. So the estrogen only is back in now for 2 weeks, and I'm going to kind of see how that goes, just because it is super hard like digging in prep as it is. And at the moment, like it's okay because I'm only on 5 times 20 minutes cardio and I'm on 14k steps as of today, and my food is still relatively okay, I think. I don't actually know my calories, but I imagine like as energy starts to really dip, it wouldn't feel great to continue to push. So like that is something that is still in the back of my mind. I've told my dad actually about it the other day, and he was like, no, like you have to carry on regardless because, you know, like either way, you're going to be feeling this. And it is true, like I have also thought about this, because if we think about it, like this PMDD like experience and where I'm at like isn't going anywhere unless the HRT helps. It's not going anywhere. So like if I am to constantly pull back from doing things, you could say like, well, am I ever going to compete again? So I think it's just a case of like just trying to continue to push, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we see improvements this month. Studies do say that you can see improvements on the 2nd and 3rd month, so I'm really hoping for that. As I say, the last 2 days since I've been like on estrogen only, I've felt okay. So yeah, fingers crossed. I am due on, because I do still have a cycle, but I have not seen that yet. Normally I come on exactly like day 28, 29, we're on day 30, so I'm just going to see how that does play out. But like I say, at the moment, I'm okay. Now, I am going to talk a little bit here about scale weight, which I'm just about to pull up. So, if I actually look on my moving average, I'm 61.8 now. And I've seen 61.8 like quite a few times. I saw it in July around the 18th. So in terms of like scale weight, it hasn't actually dropped that much. So I started prep on the 26th of June and I was 63.1. And then a week later, I literally dropped to 61.4. So that was the 2nd of July. And today, on August the 7th, I'm actually 61.8. So that is 0.4 up from then. However, my physique has changed like a lot. Like I'm so shocked at how much it's changed. So it is literally a bit of a weird one. But again, like we haven't been making changes like left, right and centre because we've been looking at my physique and how it does respond. And like I say, like there are massive visual changes over the last like 6 weeks. So yeah, again, like this is another reason why it's so important, guys, to look not only at the scales, but to look at visuals, because there's times where, like, you know, if we weren't looking at visuals and we were only looking at the scales, like I could be in a completely different position now. I could be really, really fatigued where we've, you know, pushed cardio up super high and where we've pulled food super low. But it's just not necessary when you are looking at your physique changes and taking measurements and things like that. So yeah, I haven't yet been like in my head, and I'm not sure whether that's because I still have like brain cells. And what I mean by that is the fact that like I'm not at the back end of prep now where your like head is like all warped and, you know, looking at these things in a really bad way. But like at the moment I'm sort of like, well, I look full, I'm training really hard still, I'm progressing with my lifts. You know, today I took progressions in 2 of my lifts, RDLs and hip thrusts, actually kickbacks too, and actually the abductor machine. So actually 4 movements which have progressed. So I'm still strong, still pushing hard, my physique is changing, and yeah, so I guess this is just a reminder to anyone out there that is listening, just not to get in your head if your scale weight does not move. Because yeah, I'm like 6 weeks into prep and we have so far dropped, let's see, so 63.5 minus 61.8 today, so that's 1.7 kg in 6 weeks, which is not a lot on paper, but when you look at my physique, there are changes. Now, I actually did have changes today, so as of today, I'm on 14k steps instead of 12.5, and my food has been lowered. I don't actually know my calories still, which is crazy. So I'm 6 weeks into prep, and for me, I am a macro tracker, so I macro tracked on my last prep, which got me completely like inside out shredded how I needed to be. So it's not the fact that like one is better than the other, it's purely that in my off season, I just got bored of macro tracking and just bored of food and just didn't even want to macro track. So I just kind of like, or at this point, like almost devised my own plan. And at the start of prep, Meg was just like, do you want to just follow like what you've been doing and me just adjust it? So that's kind of where we're still at now. And as much as actually like I am really intrigued to know what calories I'm on, just because I'm just happy in not knowing. I have 0 carbs, only like 100 grams of fruit in meal 1. I have 0 carbs in meal 2. And I have carbs in pre and carbs in post. And I have 0 carbs in my meal 5. So that's 3 like 0 carb meals. Like it's 100 grams of fruit and obviously like 100 grams of veg. So there's like, you know, a little bit, but not from like rice or rice cakes or anything, you know, like that. But fats are in meal 1, and there's no fats in meal 2 or meal 5. So I'm not actually finding that my hunger is massive at the moment. That's my training day food. My rest day food is probably, I'm going to predict like 100 calories to 150 calories less. And again, that's not a struggle. At the moment, like I'm absolutely fine. And I think a really important thing to do when you are on prep is like to just try not to focus on the food so much. So, you know, I don't really think about what it is. I'm just grateful that every couple of hours, every few hours, I do have food. I think it's really important as well to utilize caffeine. I always think it's a really important thing to start your contest prep on like minimal caffeine, and then, you know, as food does get pulled, if you find spots, you know, of the day that are hungry that aren't past 2 p.m, then you may want to add some caffeine in there. But I always advise literally just starting off your prep with a pre-workout if needed. And so at the moment I'm on generally 1 coffee pre-workout and then 1 coffee with my breakfast on my second work block. So yeah, I think what I'm going to have to do, so you guys get a better look into like what I'm doing with food, is, once my microphones arrive, which I've ordered, is to do a proper vlog and show you guys really like what I am eating, because it will give you guys a better kind of look into my day and how I handle it and what kind of foods I am eating. I must say though, caramel rice cakes from Morrison's are my favourite thing on prep, so I'm happy to have most of my carbs from here. Yeah, I can't really think of like much else to say actually at this point. I think I've pretty much covered everything. So on a whole, just to wrap the last 2 weeks up, like it's been okay, hunger is not there. I am now 6 weeks into prep, so that is 14 weeks out from show number 1. I'm really happy with the visual changes. Cardio is 5 times 20, steps are 14k. Yeah, food isn't too low, but isn't massively high. Energy is up and down. PMDD is still here. My cycle has not arrived yet. Meg's happy. Mark's noticing visual changes. I'm doing my best to stay, you know, switched on and to be digging through. It definitely does feel, like I say, a different prep experience, because it's not just prep things you're fighting. It is generally like my hormones that I'm fighting. So like I said, in general, I'm going to see how the next like 4 weeks ride out. Fingers crossed the HRT does have a great effect over these 4 weeks. But yeah, I think that's all from me. So I'm going to chuck a little physique update in here from this morning. And like I say, my scale weight is 61.8 on average at the moment. My starting weight was 63.5. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I don't feel like I've really given you much, but I guess it was time to give you a little update. Thanks for your constant support and for watching my videos, for liking, sharing and subscribing, and I will try not to leave the next one so long, and hopefully next time I'm going to hit you up with not only a food vlog but also a Q&A, which I did on my Instagram. And yeah, that's all.